They wanted to have different kinds of Bible study, different kinds of things going on, and I listened to them. But they wanted to be active, not just sit on a pew.
Okay, so you also taught at Southern Middle School as well. And so while you were there, you were working alongside of your mother, correct?
She had just retired. So, yeah, I don't know if I could have worked if she would have been there. Yeah, she had just retired.
And
So
shout her
I was
out.
the next McIver, right?
Shout her out real quick so
My
everyone.
mom is Phyllis McIver, and she was the counselor at Southern Middle School for more years than I can remember, and retired. And then she went to Virginia schools. So, and my dad is Tony McIver, and now he works for the school system. So, yeah, we've been loyal to Percy County Schools.
Okay, so one of the things that I hear from youth in Person County is that all the kids that go to school with go to New Mount Zion. So tell me how your experience as an educator prepared you to be able to build up and reach out to young people to develop a strong youth group at your church.
So I can't take the credit for this. I can take part of the credit, but I have amazing volunteers. Tamara and Stephanie and their crew, I, I just give them a vision, they run with it. But when I got there, we didn't have a lot of children. And I was wondering where they were. And so as I guess word got out that there was a new pastor in town, people started coming. And a lot of them were people who were previous members of New Mount Zion that just stopped coming. And so, because they went a while without a pastor. So some of them just kind of said, until you all figure this out, I'm not coming back. And when they came back, they brought their children. And I try to preach in a way that children can get something out of it as well as adults. I don't necessarily believe in sending children to a different space to hear a message. Number one, we don't have that kind of space. My husband used to be a youth pastor at two different churches, and he held a separate service, separate everything, and they did it well because their church was so big, right? And so his youth department was the size of my whole congregation. And so I knew that's not what I could do because we don't have the space. So I tried to make sure no matter what I do, my sermons can fit most people and most learners. I think being a teacher has helped in that. So I might tell a story to get you to the scripture, or I might talk about the scripture and tell you the story in the scripture so it kind of comes alive to you. But one of the things I did try to work on was how we serve the youth. So what I did was I didn't figure it out. I asked them. Our youth department got together and I said, here's your project. Tell me what you want to do. And they thought I was crazy. I was like, no. You're going to give me a PowerPoint presentation or some presentation of what you all wanted to do. They lit up. I can't remember if it was 2015. I can't remember what year it was, but they lit up and they did it well. And they talked about how they don't want people to make decisions for them. They want to be able to make decisions too. They want to be heard. They want to be seen. We want a dance ministry. We want this. We want to take trips. And so everything they came up with, we've tried to implement, right? Every year. This year we were supposed to take a big trip and then COVID came. We had all these things planned. They have taken other trips. They've gone to different parks and different places. But they wanted to be active, not just sit on a pew. They wanted to have different kinds of Bible study, different kinds of things going on, and I listened to them. And the more we listen, the more we grow. And so for me, the blessing was when my husband left his previous church and came to kind of be with me and us be under one roof. He had the youth ministry background. He stepped in and worked with the youth department, but he didn't take over. He just kind of gave them information. And to watch creativity come from children and young adults. Our young adults run our youth ministry. We don't have old grandmas trying to figure it out. It's our young adults saying, oh, we got this. My dance ministry is led by a recent college graduate. And she was in high school and college when she led our dance ministry. Now she's a school teacher. It's empowering youth to tell you what they need and to listen and not give them the same program every year. Guess what? They don't want it. They don't want the same thing every year. Um, and we just try to make sure we're listening to them and toning some of the things down. So some of the things they may ask for, you're like, now how does that relate to scripture? And so that's the thing that I always make them do. So when they ask me for an Easter egg hunt, and most of the church members was like, that is not Bible. I said, okay, we can do this. There will be no Easter bunny because that is not in the Bible. There are no eggs in the Bible. But this is what we'll do. I have to be able to tell the story before you can do Easter egg hunts. And so I ordered these Easter eggs and I tell the story. All the children gather around and I tell the story of why we celebrate Easter. And so they're seeing the story of Easter through those little plastic eggs. And in each egg, there's a different part of the narrative of Jesus's life. Even there's a cross, there's nails in there. And then the last egg is always empty. And so the end of the story is, and why do you think this egg is empty? And it never fails. A child who's never been to my church, it's always a child who's never been, will go, because Jesus ain't in the grave. And so it's trying to figure out how to teach and reach young children and middle school children and high school young adults and college students and let them lead us. We had college students coming back every single Sunday to making sure they came to church, or at least they came twice a month. And that speaks volumes that they want to come back to their home church in Libby, Roxborough, because they miss church that much. And I think this has been a struggle for them, but we've held on to their Bible study. We took this month off. My husband teaches their Bible study. I can only make guest appearances. So that's their zone, that's their party. And so that's what we try to listen to the kids.